from Mount Kenya MPs to Coast MPs who are meeting in the coastal city of Mombasa. Kevin Mutai is on that story. Kevin, what are they ventilating? I apologize, there seems to be a problem with the sound there, but we'll catch up with Kevin Mutai a little later. Well, the United Grain Millers Association says maize meal or unga prices are going to rise because of the rise in price per 90 kg bag of maize. NTV's Victor Kiprop joins us from the Nairobi CBD venue of this announcement. Victor, are we saying ugali is about to get more costly?
All right, thank you very much. We are live from the LICO Regency right here in Nairobi, where the United Grain Millers Association has just announced that the prices of unga are set to go up from the 75 shillings that was set or directed by Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mwangi Kiunjuri about a month ago. And the reasons that they give for this new development is because that they're saying they cannot obtain the maize from the farmers at this 1,600 shillings per 90 kg bag, which they used to obtain about a month ago, because currently the bags are going for about between 2,000 shillings and 2,300 shillings. So this new developments just a month after the millers agreed with the minister come with some new questions on why these new developments are coming in so quick. And to answer these questions, we have with us Mr. Samuel Kimani, who is a member of the association and is going to help us to answer these questions. Thank you very much. You're live on NTV. Just a month ago, you announced that the prices had gone up from, would be come down to 75 shillings per 2 kg packet. But now you're saying this could go up immediately. What's the reason for this new change?
Thank you very much. That was a true position by that time. The millers were able to buy maize at 1,600. When we had the meeting with the CS. First and foremost is to clarify that we are not in a fight with anyone, either the government, nor the consumer, nor the farmers. Basically what we are saying, availability of maize at the price of 16 is not achievable. Right now, farmers are holding maize. They want to sell at above 2,300. And that's what is in the market right now. Now selling the flour at 75 shilling, which is above what we had agreed with the CS of Agriculture, Honorable Minister Kiunjuri. By that time, maize was trading at 1,600. Now is above 2,300. Now you can see the difference.
All right, but when you agreed to bring down the price to 75 shillings for a 2 kg packet, that press conference you were with the CS, one would wonder if you have tried to reach out to the government on these new developments.
Communication is there. It's only last week. Then we started realizing that the maize is not there in the market. The flow is too slow, even from the cross borders, from Uganda. In fact, they are taking their maize now to Sudan, rather than bringing it to Kenya because of the price factor. By the time we had a meeting with the CS, maize was a bit cheap, even at the cross-border level.
All right, so what are you recommending to the government to make sure that the prices come back to 75?
It's obligation of the government to see that the consumer are getting maize flour at an affordable price. And to mitigate this, they must release what is there at the NCPB for a short period. Then the market trends, which is the market forces, will take force thereafter.
All right, thank you very much for speaking to NTV. And that's it. As you heard right now, the prices of maize could go up immediately, and a 2 kg bag of unga could go up from the current 75 shillings to probably the nearest 100. But we will be here to give you the latest on these new developments. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Victor Kiprop. And now back to Mombasa, where coastal MPs are meeting Okay, apparently, yes, they're meeting to discuss various issues, and we'll get an update from Kevin Mutai a little bit later on. It seems we haven't resolved that technicality. Well, the Kenya Airways non-stop maiden flight to the United States of America is within the hour, expected to touch down at the John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York. The flight, which took off a few minutes past 11 p.m. last night, was flagged off by President Uhuru Kenyatta.
It was one for the history books, the moment finally here. The first Kenyan non-stop flight to the land of promise, the United States of America. On board 230 souls. The destination, the John F. Kennedy Airport, where the Big Apple awaits. And to send it on its way, President Uhuru Kenyatta on the tarmac, wishing the captain, his crew and his passengers a smooth journey across the Atlantic Ocean and the 12,500 kilometers between them and their destination.
So we're gonna fly 1/4 of the Earth over 14 hours, yes?
And so it was that there was dancing, shared laughter and toasting.
Makofi, Makofi! I was asked by many people tonight, are you happy? Yes, I am, but I'm stressed. I'll be happy in 3 days when the first flight arrives and the next one departs.
This 28th day of October 2018 will not only have a place in our aviation history, in the history of Kenya-US relations, but also it will have a place in the history of opening up of the Western Hemisphere to the African continent, starting with the current 10 KQ source countries.
We really are on a roll here. This historic inaugural flight between the United States and Kenya is the culmination of many years, a decade really, of hard work. And it will launch new collaborations and new partnerships and new investments. It will bring us even closer together.
Over to Mombasa, where coastal MPs are speaking.
Sector. The second thing which we want to discuss is the LAPSET. LAPSET is a big project that's about cost that represents Kenya, because the resources being used in the LAPSET issues are cost resources, the Lamu port and the roads and all that. But there has been very little involvement of the members of parliament and the cost people in the LAPSET. First, the board, we probably have only one member from the coast on the board, which we are very unhappy about. And what we are asking is that we want to be more informed and involved in the development of the LAPSET project. This is a multi-billion project which would benefit the people here in terms of growing the economy of the region. So as a coast parliamentary group, we're going to take this forward to ensure that LAPSET develops the people and also ensures that the economy of this region prospers because of the investment that we are seeing. We don't want this money to come and just disappear. We would like it to help the people of this region. We also had a moment to discuss on the SGR and the impact of it. The standard gauge railway is a beautiful thing for this country. But beautiful as it may be, it has had negative impact on the economy of this region and especially Mombasa County. Right now, over 1,000 drivers have lost their jobs because now they cannot go on the trips that they want. Another very important thing we need to look at, coastal towns that move from here to Nairobi are actually dying. If you look at the towns that are on the way, that prospered because of the transport sector, are now dying off. If you go to Mariakani, if you go to Mazeras, if you go to Voi, all those towns, they're dying because the SGR has taken over the business, and therefore the economy of these towns is going down. And yet SGR, as we know, is not able to handle all these containers. And the inland depot that we know in Nairobi has issues. But because of the insistence on using the SGR, we are doing more harm than good to the coast economy. And I think government needs to come and relook at the whole strategy. They should not just look at one piece of the strategy, but have a wholesome approach and holistic approach to the transport sector. Otherwise, we are killing one sector while trying to grow another. But the sector that is dying is the sector that has supported the economy of the coast for many years. But for now, we are having a downturn on it. Lastly, we also discuss the ASAL, the arid and semi-arid lands projects. It has been for many years that the ASAL project, there's a lot of funds that come in through the ASAL, but they have not had an impact on the coast region. And as we stand today, the Minister of Devolution needs to come out very clearly on what they are doing about the ASAL project, especially for coast counties. We have 5 counties in the coast region that are declared as ASAL, and there's a lot of funds that come in, but we haven't seen these funds really working for the people. And as a region and as a coast PG, we are concerned about this, and we are asking the Minister for Devolution to come out very clearly to discuss about ASAL. Otherwise, ASAL is seen as a project for other counties and not the coast counties. So we are asking.
We'll be back with that story a little bit later in the day. Kevin Mutai is keeping an eye on it. And those were the Coast Parliamentary Group MPs addressing the impact of the SGR and LAPSET projects on the region. Education Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed supervised rehearsals of the first national examinations that are being conducted since she took office. Amina visited a number of schools in Kibera that are also hosting candidates who lost their schools during the demolitions that took place during the second term.
We were here to carry out a rehearsal ourselves, to just see that everything that's needed is in place, that the candidates are properly registered, their attendance registers are available, that the desks are arranged as per our regulations and requirements, and that the desks have both the names and the index numbers of the students. We also wanted to see whether the supervisors were present, the manager, the center manager was also present, whether all of them had their letters of appointment and their badges. And I think you also that they were all wearing badges, which meant that they had their letters of appointment. Yeah? And then we wanted also to encourage and inspire the students, tell them that we're wishing them well, and that we're all going through the same, kind of stress that they're going through, to just make sure that everything is in place. And then to encourage them and tell them that the government has a 100% transition policy, and that all the students that are sitting the exams today, tomorrow, and the day after, all of them will transition from Standard 8 to Form 1. Arrangements have been made, everything is in place for that.
At least 300 people in Kapsite village in West Pokot County have been left homeless after they were evicted from their homes and their houses and properties set ablaze due to clan wrangles over an 11.94 hectare piece of land. The land tussle between the families of the two clans, led by Tong Elech Lokwanamoi, the seller, and Shemer Lochalinga, the buyer, has been ongoing for more than 40 years. This is the second eviction after the first one occurred in 2015.
Scouring through the remains of a place they once called home. They now have been forced to sleep in the cold without no idea about what the future holds. Candidates who are to sit their exams have also been left stranded as all their materials were burnt down in their homes. They said that the land tussle between the two groups is in court and wondered why the police brutally evicted them without a court order.
Sisi hatujui kama sisi ni wa serikali ama sisi ni wa nani. Hiyo kitu imetushangaza sana. Sisi kama kilio ya kina mama tunasema, kwani sisi au wenye walichama manyumba hawana watoto jinsi akina mama wako na watoto. Watoto yao wanalala kwa manyumba, ili hali watu ya wenye walichomea manyumba watoto yao wanalala nje.
Residents say the police were being used by the other family to evict them as they did not involve the local chiefs and elders. The affected families demand justice and want the government to act immediately and resolve the issue.
Wamenipikia marisasi mpaka nimeshanga nimefanya nini? Kwanza yake nimeokota marisasi kama hii. Nimeshanga sana, watoto wangu wananiletea mpaka wanalala chini usiku wanatetemeka. Shida ni nini kweli?
However, Pokot South Deputy County Commissioner Frederick Kimanga said there was a court order to evict the families and they had been given a 2-week notice to vacate the land. The families are now camping at Kapsaka and Mukokoi village in Lelan location and are appealing for aid from the government and the Kenya Red Cross Society to enable them to cope. Helen Aura, NTV.
16 inmates from Kitengela GK prison have graduated with diplomas in discipleship and leadership under the Inmates Integration and Empowerment Program. Speaking at Kitengela GK prison during the graduation, the stakeholders said offenders rehabilitation begins with self-acceptance and hope. The course, sponsored by local church, entailed biblical teachings, psychology, and a special unit on self-awareness. The initiative aims at enhancing and boosting reforms in correctional facilities. Deputy Officer in charge at the facility, that is Benson Lomeri, says such programs are rare and ease the rehabilitation of offenders. Lomeri notes that when inmates undergo intense spiritual teachings, it eases the rehabilitation process and highly boosts discipline among inmates. The inmates who graduated have lauded the program, saying it has transformed their perception about life in prison, and they're optimistic that they will be role models when they go back to society.
Wakaweze wengine wakamjue zaidi na zaidi na zaidi.
Farmers in Kirinyaga will have to wait for 3 more years before they get a steady supply of water for their produce. This follows the 5-month delay in the construction of the 11 billion shilling Thiba Dam. The government, however, says that the construction is on course. The construction of the 40-meter tall and 1-kilometer-long dam will help secure a full year-round water supply for the country's agriculture department, with rice farmers said to be the biggest beneficiaries. NTV's Martin Maura was at the site and filed this report.
At the construction site in Rukenya, preliminary work at the Thiba Dam is in progress. It is 5 months behind schedule though. The construction should have commenced in October 2017, but started in March this year. According to Irrigation Principal Secretary, Professor Fred Segor, the project is still on course.
As you are aware, currently, the amount of water present in this region is sufficient only to irrigate 26,000 acres. And therefore, upon completion of this project, we will have an extra 10,000 acres, meaning Mwea irrigation scheme irrigation area will total 36,000 acres. Aside
from the construction delays, the multi-billion project funded by the Japanese through the Japan International Cooperative Agency and the Kenyan government has had a few false starts. There have been complaints from the residents over irregular land compensation.
Compensation of this land has been done up to well close to 95%. We only have about 5% of people to be compensated here. And the issue of that compensation is to do with succession issues. As soon as succession issues are completed, the National Land Commission and ourselves will just pay what's expected of us.
The 11 billion shilling dam is one of the flagship projects that the government is banking on to make Kenya food secure country through massive production of rice. The project, which is being implemented by the National Irrigation Board, once complete, will trap water from Thiba River and will have the capacity to hold 15 million cubic meters.
As you can see on this side, the contractor is almost 80% the excavation of the diversion works, and currently he has reached the rock level, rock excavation, and is working very hard to ensure that he finishes it in time.
Statistics show that Kenya consumes 450,000 tons of rice per year against a production of 160,000 tons, most of which comes from the Mwea irrigation scheme. To bridge the gap, Kenya imports rice from Asian countries such as Vietnam and Pakistan. Once the project is complete, rice production is projected to rise to 325 tons a year. The dam, which is 14% done, has revived the hopes of thousands of rice farmers on the Mwea irrigation scheme who face chronic water shortage during the dry season. Reporting for NTV from Mwea, I am Martin Maura.
From Martin Mora in Kirinyaga to, at the Thiba Dam, to Gladys Gashanja, who is in Nyeri, who is in Sagana, they've been covering Nyeri County together with Dan Mwangi and a host of other team members. Gladys, are you bringing back some rice?
Well, that is the intention, Olive Burrows, because of course we've got to come back with the goodies that the residents of this county have blessed us with. And speaking of which, we have been on #Moshe edition. We have been in county number 19, Nyeri County. Great experiences, but of course other concerns brought up by the residents, and one of them is coming from the traders who have cited concerns around the Finance Bill 2018 that was passed, and as you know, it comes up with heavier taxes that have directly affected the businesses. As you mentioned, we are in the Sagana area, and here we have traders that actually deal with a lot of rice. As you know, this is also the Mwe area. And speaking of which, let us speak to one of the ladies who is a trader here. Majina yako?
Majina yangu naitwa Purity Nyagodhie.
Unauza hapa mchele naona na baadhi ya other shida finance bill. Mmesema imeleta taxes, ushuru.
Sababu sisi wananchi wa kawaida biashara ziko. Kama ni pishori, bei ya pishori iko juu. Customer wanalalamika, wanasema bei ya pishori iko juu, na wanasema wataenda kukula hii ingine loko ya kawaida.
Na imeanza wakati hiyo finance bill ilipasiwa, ama mulianza kuona mtindo fulani baada yake?
Kabla ya hiyo bill kupitishwa, hiyo ndio mashida ilianza hapo. Sasa kutoka hiyo wakati biashara iko chini, unakuja unatafuta pesa, hakuna customer, hakuna, wanalalamika tu hakuna pesa.
Msimu wa Christmas unakuja. Mumeona kama watu wanakuja kuwanunulia wakipita wakisema afadhali hapa kuliko kule Nairobi ama towns zingine?
Haya, kutoka 28th tulikuwa tunatarajia customer wengi sana, hata tulikuwa tumenunua pishori mingi sana, lakini hatukupata customer wenye tunapatanga miaka hiyo ingine iliyopita.
Na sasa nyinyi mna deal na rice sana. Kuna pia wale wanasema kuna vitu vimeingia kutoka ngambo, vitu za China, na pia mnalia zimewafinya. Kivipi?
Zimetufinya sababu wao wanauza bei cheap. Sasa hii yetu ya Kenya haina market.
Wateja wanasemaje? Aladha ama afadhali bei?
Haya, wateja wanasema afadhali kununua hii inatoka China sababu bei yake iko chini.
Kwa hivyo wanaangalia mfuko sana kuliko hata ladha yake ama quality.
Wanaangalia, hata waangalii quality, wanaangalia mfuko vyenye iko.
All right, you have heard it for yourself. Various issues dealing or affecting the traders along or in this county, and there are other traders who actually bring out another aspect of it. And as you can see, before we get to some of those that would like to talk to, apart from the rice that is popularly known in this area, we also have those other grains that are very vital and also considered healthy. But even as we get to it, let's just speak to one more person. Mama, unaitwaje?
Mimi naitwa Mary Jambi.
Ungetaka kuambia government aje vile mmefinywa na ushuru na pia products za kutoka nje zinakuja kuwafinya pia?
Hizi products za kutoka nje, kwanza sisi tuna deal na mchele. Na tuko na mchele yetu inaitwa pishori kutoka Mwea. Lakini sasa wakati pali imefika, kuna mchele nyingi sana imeingia Kenya kutoka Pakistan, ingine sijui imetoka China. Kwa hivyo vile imekuja nyingi hapa Kenya, hii yetu imerudi bei, imekataa, wakulima hawana biashara hata kidogo, sababu kila mtu akikuja hapa anasema mchele iko juu. Kwa afadhali tukule ile ya China, sababu hii ya Kenya yenyu iko juu sana. Kwa hivyo mwananchi wa kawaida sasa Kenya anafinyika sana kibiashara. Tungeomba serikali hii mchele inaingia huku iondolewe kabisa, kusikuwe na mchele yote inaingia Kenya kutoka Pakistan. Tuko na mchele yetu ni nyingi na inaweza lisha kila Mkenya na ni mchele tamu.
Asante sana. Well, you've heard it. We have our own grow Kenya, buy Kenya. The government needs to be a bit sensitive about what is coming into the country and how to control the same coming into the country and that is bought within and from the farmers. And on that note, we hand you back to studio. But hey, it's been a great experience coming from Nyeri County. It has been great. My name is Gladys Gashanja. My colleague Dan Mwangi has been with me, Harith Salim, Dori Majala, and the entire crew. Back to you in studio.
Fingers crossed Gladys brings me some of that tasty rice from Sagana for my dinner tonight. Well, it was 2 days of fun and information sharing when NTV's crew members embarked on a roadshow in Kiambu, Moranga, Kirinyaga and Nyeri to meet their audience. The presence of NTV's crew engaging directly with the residents of the counties was a new experience for fans in these regions, yet so fulfilling.
NTV fans stopped and gave a moment of attention to their television station of choice when the NTV convoy came calling in their areas. Actors and comedians who feature in their favorite shows on NTV made good use of the tour to make it worth their while. While some had a rare chance of closer interaction with the crew and used the chance to create memories of the special moments, others were content to watch and listen from a distance while holding their favorite drink contained in their bottle of choice. For this man, the enjoyment of the proceedings was rather obvious. The Daily Nation newspaper team also rewarded their loyal fans with t-shirts, caps and reflector jackets for border operators, among other goodies, while other fans walked away with shopping vouchers at Tusky Supermarket. The Nation Media Group roadshow, which set out to entertain their fans beyond the screens, airwaves and newspapers, gave these youngsters a chance to put their best foot forward, dancing to the tune of their favorite music quite literally and walking away with gifts. The 2 fun-filled days started in Kiambu County through to Muranga and Kirinyaga before wrapping up in Nyeri, leaving fans even more thrilled about being part of the NTV family. Achieng Wimbley, NTV.
Now for some sports news with Waro the Kiro.
Niaje, want to invest in a biashara that will take your hustle to the next level?
Very good afternoon to you. It is time to play on NTV AT One. I am Warote Kiro. Luis Suarez scored a hat-trick as Barcelona heaped more pressure on Real Madrid boss Julian Lopetegui with a 5-1 thrashing in the Clásico played at the Nou Camp. Leaders Barcelona.
alasiri.